Finally, Game 5 is up on us. Who will win this absolutely crazy series? Stage 1 of the playoffs in Vietnam. Friends Forever against EVOS. Friends Forever already looked at 3-0, or almost, throwing away the second game, then almost dominating the third game. There were still quite a few mistakes for them, but that was the cleanest game so far, and EVOS winning both of the games through big throws from Friends Forever. So even though, as said, EVOS is the favorite coming into the last game because of their team fighting ability overall. Friends Forever overall maybe looking a bit better on the day. I think they have two players who drag them down a bit. Jungle and ADC looking not too hot today. Celebrity with a lot of mistakes on his Kaiser in the last game. I would like to see him on a bit of a safer crit ADC. Put him on the Tristana maybe. Maybe put him on. I could see Jinx working. I guess Jinx can run into the enemy backline as well and die immediately. But it's not as bad as Kaiser, so just don't put him on Kaiser again and let him fly into the backline and immediately die. Or die twice once he finishes his necessary Guardian Angel. But EVOS will be blue side. They had side selection this game and opted to go for blue side, interestingly. Friends Forever last game on red side as well, so that was the first game blue side won. Finally, EVOS securing the win on blue side, and they want to run it back in this game. Let's see how this band strategy will be adapted. Friends Forever going with 2 support bands in the last 2 games. Went with 3 support bands in the first games. Let's see if Friends Forever opens up a few more supports, but it looks like Alistar and Thresh will still be their priority bands. This time Morgana banned as well on the EVOS side once again, returning to their game 1 strategy, with Vayne and Morgana being banned out. They also banned out the Yasuo, Sylas, and Ryze from time to time. Let's see what the last ban will be. It will be the Yasuo once again. And will the Friends Forever go for Galio, Ryze, or Sylas as a ban? It's the Galio, opening up Ryze and Sylas, just as in the first game. First game, EVOS went with Ryze, and they will go with Ryze once again. Not sure about that decision. Hopefully Stark doesn't go for his weird Ryze build once again with first item Frozen Heart. Please let me see a normal Ryze for once. And once again, DNK on his favorite Conqueror Jarvan, driving me crazy on the last 4 hours already. And we will see another hour of Conqueror Jarvan running into the backline and immediately dying. Let's see if Friends Forever can still win the game, even though DNK gets on Jarvan. EVOS this time with a very strong bot lane. I like to see that. EVOS' bot lane, the strongest point on the map for them. And this time they have the traditional Braum Lucian, the Braum lane. What will FFQ slot against them? There's still the possibility of Xayah Rakan coming in. Xayah Rakan playable into Braum Lucian will not per se win the lane, especially because Xayah's CC is not good against Braum. He can just cancel out the feathers. Oh no, it's a Kaiser for Celebrity. Oh, Kalista? Oh, Kalista is a way better choice. So now, which supports are still available for the Kalista for a strong 2v2 setup? Shen could come in here. Galio is banned out. Alistar is banned out. Rakan is still a possibility as well. Rakan Kalista was very popular when both champs last were in the meta. I think it was 2017. There could be another Taric, but Taric was picked by EVOS, so don't really expect the Taric to come in on Friends Forever side. There's another Jace ban. Oh, and Tahm Kench banned. I forgot about Thomas again, and this time we will not see Tahm Kench in this game. I'm very happy to be able to pronounce that. No Tahm Kench shenanigans. No, even though last game the Tahm Kench actually looked very good with a lot of plays on the side lane, not the boring sit back in lane and do nothing in team fights. Tahm Kench it actually did something proactive, so I have to commend Venus on this one. And Venus still has the possibility to go for the Poppy. I forgot about that one. Palette and Venus sometimes go for Poppy, and Poppy into Lucian is not the worst choice. So far, Poppy has not the biggest value looking at EVOS's comp. Syndra and Rakan banned out, so now the Poppy possibility rises even higher. And there's still the Nautilus. I forgot about the Nautilus. They already played him. He's another strong melee support coming in for Friends Forever. They deviate to Shen. Another call I made before. So Shen, strong laning support. Good against Lucian because Lucian is a short range ADC and Shen can actually reach him with his E pretty easily. So far, Lucian looks at a very hard game for him to play against Sylas, Jarvan, and Shen, the enemy team. And Corki, Havard, can come into the... Oh, Sylas. Corki against Sylas is quite a good matchup for the Corki. Finally, we see this champ. I am very happy to see Corki. And finally, Rek'Sai, in the last game of the series. I really don't understand why we didn't see Rek'Sai before, but finally EVOS, I don't know, wake up, you could say, and secure themselves a strong jungle matchup. So far, Yijin has been the better jungler. That being said, both junglers don't really, they're not really having the best series of their lives. DNK just worse. The Urgot, last pick Urgot, top lane, but against the Rise. So that's a bit of a curious pick for me. I don't really think Urgot is too great into Rise. And I personally think Urgot is better as a jungler. There's still the possibility to flex the Urgot to the jungle and take Jarvan top as to open up a bit of a 1v1 kill lane for the Jarvan into Rise. Not easy to play, but it can succeed. But it looks like Urgot will be on the top lane, pushing out Stark on the Rise in the early game. EVOS got to pick their mid lane poison into Sylas, and they anticipated the Sylas going mid and went with one of the most successful mid lane counter picks in Corki. They lack a bit of CC coming out of mid lane, but considering EVOS has played 2 games with Syndra now, I think they're quite well set up to deal with a bit of lacking playmaking from the mid lane. Dia1, interestingly, not the typical Rise player from this team. They have another, not Rise, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Corki. They have another mid laner in their team, Petland, who played a lot of Corki in this season. This time it's Dia1 on the Corki. And we'll see how the rookie will fare in his very first playoffs, best of 5. Very first best of 5, and it already goes to game 5, and he has quite the important role in this game. He really doesn't want to give up a lot of kills to the Sylas. He needs to maybe not win his lane, but he needs to be stable in his lane and secure his team in team fight advantage through his late game scaling on the Corki. It's not the new Corki skin, so I'm happy about that. With Corki, always nice to see. Yijin with the Conqueror as well. On the Rek'Sai, it's not as bad as on the Jarvan in my opinion. I prefer Kai'Sa's choice, and Ender's already also agreeing with me there, and I like to see the Hail of Blades on the Rek'Sai. But the Conqueror on Rek'Sai, much better than on the Jarvan. She gets to stack it way earlier, and her ult is quite dangerous once she stacked up the Conqueror, even in the later stages of the game. We see the shift to Conqueror as well on the top lane. King J with his Urgot. Urgot now almost always going for the Conqueror. Previously was running the Spellbook, but now Conqueror with his new W, much better on this champion. Defensive setup actually coming in from EVOS's bot lane with Exhaust, run on Ron OP. Not the biggest fan, I have to say. I would like to see them going for kills against Celebrity and Venus. That being said, Celebrity and Venus still a with these champs still a strong lane, and maybe you just want to scale through the lane and capitalize on the mispositioning from Celebrity in the teamfights. Overall, game fives tend to go a bit longer. Both teams tend to be a bit hesitant in making plays. We'll see if this holds true in Vietnam as well. Artifact already trading with maybe the strongest level 1 any champ has in the 1v1. I'm not quite sure about that call, but it's one of the strongest for sure. Silas E on level 1 gives him insane trading possibilities. Over the Corki will not really do anything to the Silas, I think. He'll just try to scale. And we already see Corki loses these trades. Actually able to trade back with his E and Q quite successfully. Yeah, this lane will not see a lot of action in my opinion. There's no way to cancel out the Corki's W for Friends Forever reliably. Don't really think they should set up ganks around the mid lane, and traditionally they don't really play around Artifact's lane that much. They want to have him facilitate side lanes, even though he's the best player on the team. He often roams together with DNK to King J's lane or even to Celebrity's lane and sets up plays there. And looking at his pick, that he's perfectly equipped to do so and carry his game, his team through this series to face the number 2 team that struggled a lot. Oh, engaged on Ronopi, flash taunt already there. Ronopi doesn't want to use his flash. He thought he was down anyway. Once the CC lands, I think he is right in making the assessment that he is going down anyway, especially as DNK still has his flash available to follow up with his CC from the Javan side. Good adaptation by Ronopi. There's still the kill happening for Celebrity. Very good start for the bot lane of Friends Forever. On the Kalista Shen. There is an opportunity for Yijin now to abuse Shen's flash. But Shen with a bit of mobility himself, so it's not that easy to gank the Shen. 600 gold lead, even a bit more now with the plating coming in for Friends Forever's bot lane. So very successful gank. Only 1 flash invested, kill and plating for the bot lane. Already very good start for DNK. But to be honest, it was more on Venus. One of the best players in the series, in my opinion, has been very pivotal for his team. Even though his team bans out a lot of supports, he is still able to perform on the ones he gets to pick. A lot of Tahm Kench in the first game, and I think another one as well. Stark and King J in the top lane don't seem to really do anything to each other so far, just farming out the minions. Both champs are very good in late game setups. Ryze, one of the strongest split pushers in the game, and the Urgot, one of the strongest team fighters. So different approaches to the later stages of the game. Top lane Ryze is also a good team fighter most of the time. Looking at this game, there are a lot of targets for him to hit in the team fights. Sometimes Ryze struggles to get to the backline. This time the backline is only Kalista, who wants to fight in the more of a juggernaut style fight, being on top of the enemies. So I think this game Ryze doesn't really struggle with target access in teamfights, but he struggles with a lot of CC. He has to be very careful about approaching the fight, looking at Artifact, Venus and DNK immediately turning on him. So top lane Ryze for me is better than mid lane Ryze in the teamfights. Of course, you get to use a normal mid laner, and the problem with picking mid lane Ryze is you probably run another short range champion in the top lane, and then you're looking at 2 very short range team fighters. While top lane Ryze, while he's a short range mage compared to other bruisers, Ryze usually is better in teamfights anyway. So you kind of get to circumvent a lot of the flaws from Ryze in teamfights that he struggles with in the mid lane. He's also better in terms of matchups, in my opinion, in top lane. There's not a whole lot of matchups he loses in the top lane, while mid lane there can be long range mages that outpush him and also outtrade him a lot. Looking at Azir, things like Vel'Koz, even Orianna, I think, is favorable. Oh, engage from Artifact on DR1. DR1 low on mana, but trades back quite successfully. We still see DR1 being able to hold back Artifact in this lane, even though he loses a bit of pressure overall, a bit behind in CS. And over the course of the series, we have seen Artifact being the better player compared to DR1, but it's not by a landslide. Artifact overall is with more game impact, playing more assassins, DR1 with Syndra picks, more safe, more backliney, not so many playmaking opportunities for him, but he has fulfilled his job, and I think that's exactly why they picked him the Corki in this game as well. Just let him scale, let him teamfight, and we'll win the game. We don't have to use our rookie as our facilitator and playmaker. Artifact definitely has the onus on him to make this game work and push his team to the semi-final against Sky Gaming. And considering Sky Gaming's last showing against EVOS, this semi-final might even be easier for either team to advance from. Sky Gaming was showing a lot of miscommunication in the last best of 3 against EVOS. They fell 0-2 to them, and to be honest, EVOS didn't even play that well. Their team fought well, but they fell behind in the early game. One time 3k gold, and still won every single team fight. Of course, Sky Gaming wasn't that impressive. So I think both teams are looking forwards to the next week as with a lot of confidence, wanting to challenge for the title. Ooh, flash miss for Yijin. That's a big oof. A teleport coming in from the Artifact. He wants to continue the fight. Flash E on top of him, and now Artifact with the ultimate from Yijin will re-engage on him, maybe. What? That's so much damage. Where did that come from? Conqueror Rex are running rampant in the top lane. She played it out very well. She was tagged by the Urgot ultimate and then avoided the lethal damage ticking in with her ultimate and got a lot of damage on Artifact as well. But there had to be a lot of damage coming in from the Rise as well. I need to see this engagement again. I was sure that Friends Forever would win or at least trade even, but they got wrecked by Yijin's damage. Look at this again. Flash E from Artifact. Yijin dropping to 3. Oh, Artifact gets a lot of initial damage from Stark and Yijin. Now Yijin procs his Conqueror and gets a lot of feeling back. And then crits coming in from Stark, securing the last kills. Big turnaround. And 2 kills secured for EVOS, getting their jungler and top laner ahead. Very good start for their team. But look at Yijin's item. What is he doing? He seems to go for Cinder Hulk. Okay, are the 2 junglers sure they didn't swap champions? I'm confused by the item choices once again. Another AD Jarvan coming in for DNK. Not a single game for him on Cinder Hulk Jarvan, even though we saw Cinder Hulk being more and more popular in almost every region for Jarvan. But he sticks to his AD Jarvan and sticks to his inting ways. Ult into the enemy team and immediately die, and yeah, don't even use the better keystone for that. Man, DNK is not really on top of his game today. We'll see if Friends Forever is still able to win, even with their jungler kind of inting a lot of games. Yijin now with a repeat gank to accelerate Stark even further. Stark is very content just farming as well. I don't really see the need to gank the Urgot right now. I don't really see the setup succeeding either, so don't agree with this call all too much, especially because EVOS is now giving up bot lane pressure, and Celebrity, Venus, and 2 more reinforcements already grouping up to gank this bot lane. Nice ultimate investment from No Way to push out the minions. No play is happening there. Top lane, the gank was not happening either. As I alluded to before, the possibility for the gank wasn't really that high in the start. And now they are going for the objective in the top side. And it's still before 14 minutes, but they're not able to continue because Artifact and DNK roam up and stop the Rift Turret from being taken. Shelly gets to live a bit longer. Slowly walks back to her pit. Looking at the overall state of the game, it's once again very even in gold. We have a bit of an advantage on the top side for EVOS, and a bit of an advantage for the bot side of Friends Forever. Usually that spells good things for Friends Forever, as they need to get their bot side going to do anything in the game. King J not too far behind either. He's still even in creeps, and going down once is not the biggest detriment to him. Artifact, on the other hand, hasn't had the best game so far. He's not able to use his early game advantage over the Corki, and slowly Corki will be able to actually pressure him out of lane, maybe even. Oh, dive setup on Stark, but there are no minions. Oh, Venus with a flash doesn't hit this taunt. Does Venus go down here? No. So, oh, in the end, nicely done by Friends Forever. Getting the kill on Rise. They had to use 2 flashes, and Celebrity in the meantime had to use flash and heal to escape the gank on the other side, and also Eve was also already on top of the dragon, so even though they got the kill in the top lane, wasn't really that worth. Gave up a lot of bot lane pressure, gave up the dragon. Will now capitalize with a bit of an objective for themselves, the Herald. It's still prior to 40 minutes, so they might even be able to get 2 platings wherever they want to slot the Herald. Let's see what DNK has in store for us with that one. But overall, the gold going over in EVOS's favor, even though Friends Forever secured the kill. 600 gold, 400 gold? I guess it's still alternating. First item finished by Artifact, and Tier 1 is not sitting on his first item yet. Artifact might be in a bit of a power advantage right now compared to the Corki, but Corki has secured 2 platings now already. Yeah, this second plating going down right now. 320 gold for him, 1 kill worth of gold. So Artifact, even though he invested a lot of time top lane and got a bit out of it, his enemy mid laner is still sitting in a very good position. Corki set up to carry the later team fights. The next fight will happen here. No way. And Ronopi safe under the turret, and King J can't really do anything here. Celebrity and Venus drop low. King J gives up a lot of time in the top lane, and now they have to invest the Rift Herald to actually get the first turret, but they didn't do it in time for the platings. So it's only first turret gold going over to Friends Forever. No further plating secured with the Rift Herald, and Stark might even trade back 1 turret. Yeah, it looks like he will be able to do so with the next wave crashing. That being said, bot lane already moving. Ooh, it will be very slim timing window for the Rise, looking at the minimap. But he should be able to get this one. Yeah. The turret is traded, so overall EVOS coming out on top once again with a lot of gold going over to the Rise. And even though they gave up the objective for immediate gold, the Rift Herald, they secured themselves a dragon, and they even got out ahead with the Rift Herald, so now the dragon doubles in value, you could say. Next dragon will be another ocean, not too great for EVOS, but yeah, oceans are just nice to have. Not the greatest priority ever, but that also means that EVOS will probably get the dragon for free. Oceans are not really a thing that Friends Forever will contest under all circumstances. I'd say maybe Friends Forever will go for the fight anyway. Looking at the scaling from the comp, I've already talked about Rice this game struggling a bit against CC, but not with target access. So if Stark is playing the team fights well, he can deal a lot of damage here. We also have 2 ADCs sitting in the backline, especially Corki with insane late game scaling. So overall, I favor EVOS's comp once again. They have the safer ADC support with more teamfight impact as well. Friends Forever has to outplay EVOS with an easier execution. Mid-game teamfights might still go in Friends Forever's favor, especially once Celebrity's second item and Artifact's second item come in. DNK still pretty strong on his Jarvan as well. He's not in the state where Corki will just one-shot him yet. That being said, he's only sitting on 1,300 health. Not tanky at all. Second item GA. I actually like this much more than on the ADC. But now Stark gets ganked. Artifact and Venus on top of him, and Stark will slowly die. Oh, nice stopwatch. Artifact now has to tank a lot of turret damage. Oh, he actually goes down. Big mistake by Artifact. Nicely done by Stark there. Initial play didn't look too great, and now Snipe from Yijin comes in. He flashes it. You can't flash that. Yeah, he still gets saved by Celebrity, and Yijin invests his flash for nothing. At least gets... okay, I guess he gets one flash from Venus back. Overall, big win for EVOS, because there was a lot of resources invested for Friends Forever to kill the Ryze in the top lane, and they only get to trade 1-for-1 in terms of kills, as well as in terms of turrets, and the Dragon is already spawning. So far, mid-game looking very good for EVOS. They take a bit of a slower approach this time, bit more of a defensive setup, waiting for the plays to happen for Friends Forever and capitalizing on the individual mistakes. Once again, Artifact not able to cleanly execute that dive and gives up another kill over to the Ryze, which really is not what we want to see happening. Ryze seems to be going for a second item Zhonya's in this game, which I like as a teamfight item, as it can deny a bit of CC and a bit of dive as well. So clearly setting up the teamfights once again, not so much the 1-3-1 composition coming in for EVOS. That being said, they definitely have the capabilities of 1-3-1ing with their two solo laners. But looking at the series so far, we have not seen either team being too apt in playing out the 1-3-1 either side. So I fully expect this one to devolve into a bit of a teamfight fiesta game, as the last 4 games have been pretty much that as well. It's still overall a good setup for EVOS. Corki now sitting on 2 items, already working on his big Infinity Edge, and once that one comes in I think 4 or 5 minutes maybe from now, maybe even 3, the teamfight advantage will be heavily in favor of EVOS with much more continuous damage, 2 ADCs hitting with crits. No crits so far coming in for Norway, but they don't really need the crits from him. They have a crit ADC in the mid lane. Another 1v1 between Stark and Artifact, and it's another ultimate from Venus coming in. This time Stark has his Zhonya's available, so he gets the stasis once again. Artifact drops down, another big mistake for Artifact, and now Venus is collapsed on, doesn't have his flash available. Ooh, DR1 and Stark are here to cut him off, and the first kill to DR1. This looks very, very good for EVOS. More and more plays from FFQ seem a bit desperate, and the biggest thing I can see EVOS doing to lose this game is the Baron throw, which, to be fair, they have done quite a bit. But not as much as Friends Forever. I have to give credit where credit is due. EVOS's Baron setups were much cleaner than Friends Forever's. That being said, they still gave up 1 or 2 Barons in the series, in the direct 50-50, so the Baron call now starting. Yijin is droning off DNK. DNK with his Guardian Angel. Actually, Guardian Angel might give him a bit of false safety, I wanted to say, because Guardian, he can jump in with Guardian Angel, then drop low down into the Guardian Angel. But sadly for him, he can't smite while being down there, so he might overestimate his actual impact when jumping into the Baron pit, considering he will get back to live a few seconds later, but he can't smite. That's a bit of a tricky thing to play. Stark once again caught in the top side, and this time finally kill going over to Artifact after 2 botched attempts from his side. Now Friends Forever looking at the Baron with the Kalista, so better secure for them, and for once they don't actually commit to the Baron. No, we're very aggressive on his chase, wants to get as much damage as possible to stick. Still a 2000 gold advantage for EVOS, and the next dragon will be one to fight around as well. Maybe a bit of a Baron and Dragon Dance now emerging in the next few minutes. Heejin will already secure the bit of vision around the Baron. Nicely done for him. He's in a very good state as well. Looking at his items, it's very surprising to see tanky Rek'Sai. So just compare the two junglers. There's a tank Rek'Sai and an AD Jarvan. What went wrong in Vietnam in the scrims? I'm really not sure what's happening here. Tank Rek'Sai going for second item Titanic Hydra as well. A lot of DPS coming out of the jungler as well, and a bit of frontline for their frontline-less team. It's now a one frontline champ if you combine the Rek'Sai with health and the Braum with damage reduction. So they actually get one real tank if they combine their two utility roles, and they have a lot of damage as backup in the backline or even flank position, considering Ryze can also realm warp behind the enemies and actually approach the teamfight from behind. Eye Edge is completed for Corki. So Corki is very, very strong. Okay, Corki and Artifact fight once again. And I don't understand what EVOS is doing. It's the third time they get caught out in the lane where Artifact is in. Venus comes in once again with his ultimate, and once again there's a fight in the top lane. Man, EVOS really doesn't learn from their mistakes. I guess they saw that they outplayed it once or twice and thought they were fine. But this time Corki falls down. Corki has teleport, but it's still 25 seconds until he comes back. And Baron already on 4k HP. Yijin gets countered by Artifact. This should be a free Baron secured by Kalista. And Friends Forever turn around the game. Yijin now in the pit. But the fight looks good for EVOS. No way on the backside. Ooh, now all the people drop down for EVOS. No way, still chased down by Artifact. And Friends Forever secure a big advantage in this game. Once again, turning around the fight. No way and Artifact still dancing with each other. And the Baron push is already set up in the mid lane. No reset for Friends Forever. They want to go for the Drake as well. Big capitalization on the repeated mistake from EVOS in the top lane. Once again falling for the bait from Artifact, using Venus as his engage tool. And utilizing their champs very well to overcome the teamfight disadvantage they have in the straight up 5v5. Friends Forever with the first significant lead in this game. That being said, I can't really say that. EVOS had quite a significant lead before, and they are still in this game. They still have the scaling Corki and a very strong Ryze. And looking at this team fight again, very good play for Artifact to deter the engage from Yijin. Look at this again. It looks very good for EVOS, but they get CC'd all the time. Yulwei can't really attack anyone, has to attack Venus and then flashes out. Stark gets perma-CC'd on the Ryze, something I talked about earlier on. He doesn't really have problems with target access, but there's a lot of CC to actually stop his machine gunning on the Ryze. And that's exactly what happened. 1k gold advantage for Friends Forever. They secure the Infernal Drake. Sadly for them, the next one will be Infernal as well, so another chance for EVOS to get themselves an Infernal Drake as well. And now the defensive setup for EVOS once again has to be very good to not lose the game in the next few minutes. 25 minutes in. Usually the Baron setup, and not the Baron setup, the game closing once a team secures Baron, I'm not sure if there's a term for that, is very clean in Vietnam, I have to say. A lot of teams committing for Baron way too aggressively, but once they have secured Baron, their play in the next few minutes with the buff is immaculate. This series not so much. We have seen a lot of overextension in the enemy base, and DNK once again engaging in a fight. Stark already in his Zhonya's, DNK drops down, but Stark will die as well. Now the fight focus on King Jager's down. Venus in the backline, but they can't follow up as Venus, as two of their engagers are already down. Another overextension with the Baron buff. So I have to eat my words once again. Legion drops very low, and now Celebrity in a good position. Artifact with insane amounts of damage, and Dio1 has to flash out. They can't get to him right now. Ooh, they actually get on top of him, and another kill goes down to Celebrity. So in the end, Friends Forever win this fight decisively and will secure the first inhibitor of the game. Dia 1 still down for 40 seconds, and his last few minutes have been very bad. The rookie seems to crumble a bit under the pressure of this best of 5 fifth game. Oh, please, Renswerver, don't go for the... Oh, okay. There have been so many throws in the enemy base, but Renswerver once again goes for the immediate finish. They see the semi-final matchup against Sky Gaming and want to reach that stage of the players. But now they realize they can't finish just now and will back out. Their Baron has run out, so no faster recalls. Will EVOS actually be able to catch them? I don't believe that's possible for them. Oh man, EVOS is throwing away their chance to meet PvB. They already secured a 2-0 against Sky Gaming in convincing fashion last week, so I think they would be the favorites if they advanced in the next to the next rounds against Sky Gaming. But at the moment, it looks like Transferver will actually upset the favorite coming in today. Dia 1 has to get back on top of his game. His last few minutes really have not looked too great. Stark also on the rise, not impressing me. Way too far up. Look at that. Immediately died. And then overcommitment from EVOS once again. They chase Celebrity. Yijin way too early on this ult. No way for his team to follow up. And a lot of damage on Yijin. So now Yijin has to exit the fight. Very good re-engage from Artifact as well. Using the chaos created by Yijin and Celebrity to get back into this fight. And then Dia 1 caught out once again. Goes down. Dia 1 now on 3 items, so he is insanely strong on the Corki. He's able to execute. Ooh, wow. Well played by Yijin there. Auto attack locked on Venus, so he doesn't get the taunt off. Invested his flash. Venus now without his flash. And Yijin didn't lose anything for that. Immediate power build for Celebrity. Double lifesteal coming in for the Kalista, and for once he doesn't go for the Guardian Angel, which I'm grateful for. For once it's a normal ADC build. We have not seen him play like a normal ADC, and especially his items have not been normal ADC items, but this game he is actually in a very good position. 6-0 and 3, 700 gold bounty, and best game of the series so far, just in time for the ADC for Friends Forever. Has not died. It's not cost them any team fights. There's still time for that, to be honest. And immediate Baron call for EVOS. They go for the Desperation Baron. Don't know where anyone is on the map. Now see a few members running through the mid lane. Nicely done by Corki. Slow field just in front of Baron. So they will get the Baron. Nice call from EVOS. Very decisive. One thing that is definitely one characteristic of this team. Very decisive mid-game calls from behind. And they get the Baron, snatch it from the noses of Friends Forever. No way for them to get back to them. And Stark actually secures one very important Guardian Angel. Oh, look at that damage from Ryze. I actually don't really like him delaying his own death. Oh, okay, the dragon is up, so it's okay. Normally, I would say if your team has Baron, you want to die as quickly as possible to group back up with them and use your Baron. This way, he bought enough time for his team to actually secure the dragon as well. Back on dragon parity, gold almost even as well, so this will come down to single-player performance. Map state overall still advantageous for Friends Forever. They have secured one inhibitor, and there is the play happening. Stark still down for 22 seconds. A bit of an opportunity for Friends Forever to look for a few kills, and maybe even end the game if they get Dia 1 or a pick on No Way. Grouping up with the minions, and they will now look for the crucial CC to land. It's not really a way for Friends Forever to win this, and they have lost a lot of their health bath. With Stark's TP up and coming in. Ooh, there's Stark's TP. We see the zoom out. Stark now running in level 16. Very strong Ryze. Oh god, this ult. Okay. Luckily, he doesn't follow through, but he still gets the kill on the Jarvan. Re-engage from No Way and Ron OP. Yijin already in the backline. This will be a Ron team fight for EVOS. They wreck the enemy team overextension for Friends Forever once again. They were too overeager, wanted to secure the game victory with the small opportunity they bought for themselves. And EVOS gets back into the game. It looked very dire for a few minutes, but they very decisive Baron call and good team fighting capitalization on the mistakes from Friends Forever, bringing them back into the game. And now the counter inhibitor will happen. First inhibitor for EVOS in this 5th game goes down at 31 minutes. Do they look for the finish here? There are 2 members still down for a while, and the first Nexus Taurus goes down. Is this the end of the series? Venus tries to save the series with an E, but he will go down. And now, last Nexus Taurus falls. Celebrity already very low. Ooh, Bronze lands. Celebrity goes down to DR1. This is the game. EVOS has turned around this game and has won the series after everything that happened. Woo! What nail-biter of a series. And finally, EVOS finishes off this struggle. It was way harder than I anticipated, way harder than I thought it would be. 5 games struggling against Friends Forever, falling behind constantly in the early game. Only 1 game they were ahead at 15. All the other games, Friends Forever with a better early game. EVOS relied on a lot of throws. This game finally made a very decisive call to come back into the game. Not that much of a throw from Friends Forever, if I'm being honest. It looked a bit like a throw because they overextended in the mid lane, but they realized that they can't win teamfights anymore, so they wanted to go for the victory after catching out the Rise, and they faced the big problem that EVOS was very decisive with their Baron call, secured the Baron, 4 got out. That ultimately won the game. Whew. EVOS will advance to the next round to face Sky Gaming, rematch from last Sunday where EVOS 2-0'd Sky Gaming. Sky Gaming has another week to prepare. They already had one, and we'll see if they show something different on 9.6 than we saw last game. Next week, Saturday, same time, same place, we'll have the second round of the playoffs. And after this best of 5, that's a mouth-watering prospect to look at. Insane series today. Many mistakes, many throws. It still was a blast to cast and a blast to follow, I hope, as well. As we saw, individual outplays and misplays all over the place. Not that much macro. Maybe we get to see a bit of macro in 2 weeks from now when PvP plays. That being said, they are not the biggest macro team either. Lot of individual skill coming from their players as well to dominate all their matchups, especially looking at the top lane. Standout players in this series. For EVOS' side, I think their bot lane played well in the games they won in the teamfights. Some of the laning phases they won decisively as well. This game they lost, and this game their bottom lane wasn't the biggest factor. I think overall Stark didn't show the biggest performance ever. His rise in the last game was good in the teamfights, to be honest. His laning phase, not the greatest fan of his laning phase, I have to say. Yijin, solid, but not outstanding. DR1 with a lot of nerfs. So it's hard for me to really say who performed best in the EVOS team. They had a lot of problems in a lot of the games. As I said before, I would guess 60 to 70% of the game time today, EVOS was on a disadvantage. So you can't really say any player played particularly great. If I had to give him a serious MVP, I would probably go for Ron OP or Yulwei. Not quite sure which one. I think Ron OP had an insane hike performance in the early game. In the first game, was not able to carry it through. They banned away all of his chaps, and he was still able to have game impact, so that's commendable as well. Might just give it to Ron OP. But the ADC difference was also a big factor, and the ADC difference was not only on Celebrity playing bad in the teamfights, also on Yulwei executing on his ADC champs in the teamfights quite well. So Yulwei, another candidate for me. Give him the MVP if you want to. I kind of want to wait to see if the VCS will show us an MVP for this game. I'm not sure if they actually award MVPs for the players, They seem to not award any MVPs for single games, as it is done in Korea. We saw yesterday in LEC awarded an MVP after the whole series. So maybe we'll get to see a bit of a serious MVP this time again. I apologize once again for the lag in the fourth game. For some reason my internet failed me. But we got, at least I got it back to work, I guess. And next week, we will see Sky Gaming and EVOS fight against each other to challenge PvB. EVOS still remaining in the tournament, still with the dream to go back to MSI after showing themselves in the last MSI tournament last year. Very good showing, 3 and 7 in the group stage. Doesn't sound too good, but considering they are still coming from a smaller region, less developed region, one could say, 3 and 7 isn't the worst choice ever. Score ever, not choice. I don't really see EVOS challenging PvB in their current state too much. They now have 1 week to prepare for Sky Gaming, and if they win that one, another week to prepare for the clash against PvB. Today they can be relieved that they have won this nailbiter of a series. DR1 won his first ever playoffs match, which will hopefully boost his confidence for the next one. They should be confident coming into the next game, looking at their 2-0 last week. See if Sky Gaming shows up or not tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next week. And as this will go on, I really need to catch some breath, so I will end the stream shortly. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see a few of you guys back next week when we see the clash in the semi-final between Sky Gaming and EVOS. It's on Saturday, the 6th of April, same place, same time. Hopefully with no lags that time. Thank you all for watching, and have a good day or night or whatever time it is where you're watching from. Bye bye.